right? And I said at component, and at service, you know at repository, at controller, at rest controller, at configuration. I said all these annotations are applicable at a class level. All these annotations are applicable at class level. Okay. So now let's start with, I said already, this component annotation is actually the base annotation. Is a base annotation for all the remaining annotations. So just component annotation uh, used to specify that this class is a bean component. When you specify a class as a bean component, then when the component scan feature of Spring is executing, means running, when component scan feature is enabled, then the Spring will identify and will register that bean in the Spring container. Right. So I will tell you that the component scan facility once again, and auto wiring related annotations also I'm going to tell you now. Right. Auto wiring annotations also I'm going to tell you. So try to, try to get the point here clearly. Try to get the point here clearly. These stereotype annotations and auto wiring annotations are what generally, are the two types of annotations which we use very frequently in applications. Even in Spring Framework applications also, we do the same thing. In Spring Boot applications also, the stereotype annotations as well as this auto wiring annotations are going to be used in every application. Okay. As I said already, in Spring Boot, the configurations can be done only, application configurations can be done only through annotations. So it cannot be done through an XML file. While you're creating a Spring Framework application, you have an alternative, like you can go for either XML configurations or you can use annotations to do the configuration. But whereas in Spring Boot, it doesn't allow the XML configurations. It will only allow the annotations based configurations in application. So let's move on. See, it's, for example, if I write at component and a class, just something I'm writing. Say, for example, I'm writing a public class, some class name. Say, suppose I have a class called network manager. So just by writing this component annotation at component annotation, we are specifying that this class in application, this class as a Spring Bean component. So what happens now? There is a concept called components auto scan feature. Component scan feature or components auto scan feature, whatever it is. In Spring, it has provided a good feature. The framework has given a good feature called what? Components auto scanning. I'll tell you how to enable this feature. So when the Spring is scanning for the components, actually it is going to see whether this class to be registered as a Spring Bean or not with the help of this component annotation. If a class has this annotation component at class level, then the Spring will register that class as a bean in the Spring container. Right. if there is a component annotation at the class level. Of course, since the beans are registered with some names, they are also called IDs. I repeat, with some names, they are also called what? IDs. Okay. So let me tell you, for example, if the class name is a network manager, then the Spring will register this bean with the name, are also called ID, whatever, will register with the name, same as class name only, but with first letter in lowercase. Means what? This class will be registered in Spring container. Spring container means, as you know, there are two types of Spring containers. One is a bean factory container and second one is an application context container. But as I said already, bean factory container is not used. Bean factory container is the basic container where we have that container, the Spring 1.x and 2.x. Of course, even now also we have bean factory, because application context is a sub interface of bean factory. But we use application context container throughout in our today's applications. So in the application context, this network manager is registered as a bean with name or ID, whatever, with the ID as network manager. With the first letter in lowercase. Network manager. So I think you are understanding what I am saying here. Okay. Now this is a class network manager is registered with ID network manager with N in lowercase. Network manager. Hope you are understanding what I'm saying now. Right. With this ID. The ID is a network manager. That is the use of component. So how to enable this components auto scanning feature? There is one more annotation that is also used at class level. At configuration class level, we are going to use that. And that annotation is called at component scan. Now this is an annotation used to enable, this annotation enables components auto scanning feature. This annotation used to enable this feature. Right. So in this auto scanning, Spring will identify that a class to be registered as a Spring Bean in a container or not using this annotation. So the classes with this component annotation are registered as Spring Bean components in the container, and by default they are registered. By default, I'm saying, by default they are registered with their class name with first letter in lowercase as their names, otherwise as their ID, whatever it is. Because in container, every bean is registered with an ID. Right, okay. Every bean has an ID in the container. So that is component. But generally when you're writing applications, we don't write a component explicitly. We use one of its derived. So for example, service is a derived annotation from component. So we used to write annotations like at service. So when you write at service, again, there is no need of writing at component. See, for example, if I used to write, what at service, for example, public class, say for instance, network service. Public class network service. Example, okay. I will like to close this. So here when I write at service, I no need of writing at component again. I not have writing this component again, because that service is derived from component only. I no need of writing that component annotation once again, because that service is derived from at component only. Okay. So what in components auto scanning, even this network service bean is also registered in the container. Of course, with an ID as network service with first letter in lowercase. Registered with a class name as its ID with first letter in lowercase. In container, this network service being registered with ID network service. Okay, with an ID network service. Okay, right, okay. So, no need of writing at component once again. The same thing will happen for all the remaining because these are all the derived annotations from at component. Suppose I would like to register this network service, for example, I would like, for example, I would like to register this network service being in the Spring container with an ID as N service. Then you can just pass that value to this annotation. You can pass that as a value to this annotation. So how? At service of, I'm writing, for example, at service of, the value what I am passing is N service. Right. So what? Now in Spring container, this network service is registered as a bean. Now this class registered as a Spring bean in the Spring container, not with the ID as network service. It is registered with the ID as what? N service. It is registered with an ID as what? N service, but not as a network service. But not as a network service. It is registered as a N service. Okay, right? So this is like how you people need to understand about these stereotype annotations. Right, okay. That are you getting my point? Right in a chat box now. Have you understood? Are you clear? Right. Good, good. Nice. Okay, good. So these are the stereotype annotations which we are generally going to use. I repeat, these are the stereotype annotations what generally we are going to use in our, you know, uh, applications. The very frequent use annotation, these are all, okay? Right. This is what actually yesterday that, we have discussed. And one more thing is, by default, the beans are registered with the scope as a singleton. So what will happen now in the Spring container, using that bean definition, there is a single object will be created, and the same object is provided by the container to all the beans, because the default scope of a Spring bean is a singleton. If you want to register any bean in the container with the scope as prototype, then you have annotation called @scope. The default scope of a bean in Spring is what? A singleton. Means what? Using the bean definition, a single object will be created. So the same object will be provided, even that single object is created while loading the beans. That is nothing but what? Early loading. I think you know the two words like early loading and lazy loading. I think you know the 2 points like early loading and lazy loading. Right. So using the bean definition, there is a single object is created when a scope is singleton. Suppose you want, see, for example, every time the container has to provide, the Spring container has to provide a new object of a bean. It has to inject a new object of a bean every time. Then change the scope as prototype. So you can use the annotation like a scope annotation at the class level by providing the scope as prototype. So let me write that. I will explain you. Right. right? Okay. So let me tell you, everyone. Say I can write like this now. Example, at service. Then I can write at scope. And let me write prototype. Then I would like to say public class, something like a network service. Are you clear? I can able to write like this. Hope you guys are getting my point. Now this bean will be registered in Spring Container with the scope as prototype. Right. Now what container can use that bean definition to create multiple objects. So it's going to create a new object every time when that bean is required. Right. If there are two beans for which this network service to be injected. If there are two beans where network service is required for them, nothing but what this is a dependency for both of them. If there are two dependent beans are depending on this network service, then the Spring Container will inject two different objects of network service. Creates an object and injects to bean 1 and also creates another object, injects to bean 2. For example, there are two beans, bean 1 and bean 2, which are depending on this, which depends on this network service. Example. Then what Spring Container will do? Spring Container will create two different objects of network service and injects this network service object to bean 1 and injects this network service object to bean 2. If the scope is not prototype, if you remove this, then what, using this bean definition registered in the Spring Container can able to create a single object. Now in that case, what happens? Now the Spring Container is just going to create the Spring Container is just going to create a single object. Is going to create a single object and will inject the same object to both of them. Injects the same object to both the beans. Right. So these are some of the basics that I would like to explain. And now next, as you know, mostly in our application, what happens? The objects are collaborating with each other. Nothing but what one object will use the function or will make a call to the functionalities available in some other object. You know, application is consisting so many multiple classes, and you know, the functionalities of one class are called from another class. Without doing like this, we can't able to create any real-time application. Of course, I'm not talking about a hello world application, but when you're creating any an application, if you think of you take any application, a real-time application which consisting so many classes, they are working at different layers. There are so many classes which are working in different layers. Right. So there are so many classes which are working at different layers. And what I would like to say is the classes are going to have communication. Means one class is going to make a call to functionalities provided in other class. Right. So this is where we are getting a concept called what actually injecting the dependencies. Right. First, I would like to ask a question to all of you. You take a Spring Bean, for example. A Spring Bean is nothing but what just any class what you write as part of application, which is managed by Spring Container, can be called as a Spring Bean, right? I repeat my statement once again. That a class that you are defining in application, whose life cycle is managed by Spring Container can be called as a Spring Bean, right? Means you write a class and you define the attributes and the functionalities, that is the methods. You define all of them. And who is going to manage it? Manage it in the sense who will take care of object creation, initialization, managing its dependencies, and finally destroying that object. That is done by Spring Container. So, what is Spring Bean? A Spring Bean is nothing but it is a class in application, right? It is a class in application whose object lifecycle is managed by Spring Container. That is called Spring Bean, right? So, as you know, in Spring, the container, provided a facility called dependency injection. The container has provided a facility called what? Dependency injection. So what's happening in dependency injection? The container will inject the required dependencies of a bean. Now I want to ask a question. So how many types of dependencies? How many types of dependencies that a Spring Bean is going to have? A Spring Bean is nothing but just a class in application, right? Whose life cycle is, whose object life cycle is managed by the Spring Container. So now my question to all of you is, how many types of dependencies can exist in a bean? Yeah. How many types of dependencies can exist in a bean is my question. How many types of dependencies can exist in a bean is my question. Yeah. Right. Good. Okay. So yeah. Nice. Good. Good. No problem. Okay. Right, sir. Right. Okay. It's not a problem. I'll explain. Right, sir. Right, sir. Okay. Right. Good. Good. So I need to explain some more basics to you. With your answers, I understood that. See here. No problem. Okay. I will take care of everything. You just follow my sessions. Okay. I'll make you a master of this framework. This is a simple framework you can easily understand. You can easily learn also. Okay. Right. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Good. That's the reason we actually started with the basics, because directly I can tell that Spring Boot is on. So you can do this, you can do that. But that is all waste. First of all, you should have some basics. So that's the reason why I started explaining some basics right from the beginning. Okay. Right from the beginning. Okay. No problem. Yeah. See, everyone, in a class, in a class, uh, whatever whatever the variable you create, whether you are creating of an int type or a float type or like a string type, or whether you are creating a reference of enum type, or you are creating a reference of another class type, they are all called dependencies only. In a Spring Bean, the dependencies are divided into a Spring Bean can have three types of dependencies. A Spring Bean can have three types of dependencies. Right. So let me tell you, just for example, to understand that, for example, right. Let me tell you. For example, suppose if I write public something. Suppose I would like to write demo. Later on we take good examples, but right now present to explain a demo. If you look at this class demo, for example, I am writing int x. Assume that a demo is a Spring Bean. This demo is a bean, is a Spring Bean. It's a bean class. Int x. This demo, say for example, in demo I'm creating a reference of sample. Say sample is one more class I have in application. And say for example, I'm writing a list type. So something list something list. So if you look at this, in a class, whatever the variables you create, I repeat, in a class, whatever the variables you create, they are all called dependencies. These are all the variables which we call as attributes defined in this class. Whatever the variables or attributes you created, you defined in a class, these are all called dependencies only. Okay. Now this x is a dependency which can hold a value. Now this dependency is a value type. But when you take S, for example, sample, a sample is one more class, S is the reference variable. Now, because it's a reference variable, this reference variable can hold an object. So it is an object type dependency. This list is not going to hold a single object, it can hold a collection of objects. It's a collection of objects. So we divide it as a collection type. So now a Spring Bean can have three types of dependencies. They are value type, object type, and collection type. Now my question to you, can you tell any other type of dependency apart from this value type, object type, or a collection type? Can you tell any other type of dependency? Map is a collection type. Enum is a reference type. Interface is a reference type. Constant is a value type. Right. Function pointer is an object type. Setter and constructor, they are all dependency injections. I'm not talking about dependency injection types. Okay, setter injection, constructor injection, lookup method injection, interface injection. They are all dependency injection types. Okay. But my question is, I'm not talking about dependency injection types. I'm talking about dependencies. Can you suggest any other type of dependencies can be there in a bin? Every variable you created within a class are called dependencies only. this this is a Spring Bean class. So in a Spring Bean class, whatever the variables you create, they are all called dependencies only. Now this X is a value type dependent because it can hold a value. Now this variable can store an object, it can hold an object. So it's an object type dependency. Now this list can store a collection of objects, a collection type dependency. My question, apart from these three, can you suggest any other? Some of you people are telling what enum. So enum is a reference type. You're telling some interface reference. Interface reference also holds an object of implementation class. So it is also an object type. So finally, okay, finally map, you're saying map is a collection. It's a collection type. It can store an object, map object. It's a collection type. So finally, what I can tell, a bean can have three types of dependencies. Remember, dependencies are three types: value type, an object type, and a collection type. Okay, right. So try to understand the points clearly. Dependencies are three types. You take any, just have written a demo, or you take any real-time application class, later on we are going to see. Later on we are going to see. I will tell you what actually I'm going to teach in the Spring Boot and microservices next. Okay. So I will give you the entire course content for you next. In the session, I will show you a course content paper of Spring Boot and microservices. Before we enter into that, first of all, I have to explain some basic annotations and some basic concepts, and that is what right now I'm focusing. Okay, that is what right now I'm focusing. Then after that, I will tell you an excellent subject on this boot and micro. It's very demanding today. It's required for everyone. It is required for everyone, even though you are working from a 10, 12, 13, 14 years. Okay. So, okay. Correct. Good. So it's required for everyone. It's required for everyone, and I will cover everything. You don't worry. So I will give you a course content paper to know first of all what you are going to learn in my session of the Spring Boot and microservices. I will show you the content paper for our session of Spring Boot and microservices. But basically, I would like to cover some basics. So it's boot and microservices is nowadays there is a huge requirement. Okay, now those who are planning to shift, uh, then you have to face an interview, and all the questions you are going to get is on Spring Boot, microservices, and related cloud related concepts, right? So it's very demanding in the market now. Okay, the huge requirement is there on Spring Boot and microservices. See, some basics I would like to cover. So finally, I can tell you that a bean can have only three types of dependencies: value type, second one is an object type, and third one is collection type. And now, I actually introduced this point to tell you one new point. I mean, one thing I want to tell you. When it comes to annotations, Spring has provided annotation called @value. Spring has provided annotation called @value. Also provided one more annotation called @auto-void. Clear? What Spring framework has provided? @value and @auto-void annotations. @value annotation is provided to inject a value type dependency, and @auto-void annotation is provided @auto-void annotation is provided, you know, this @auto-void annotation is provided for injecting both object types and collection type dependencies of a bean. And these annotations, value and auto-word annotations are going to be used very frequently. The stereotype annotations like at service, at repository, at controller, now at value, at auto-word, these annotations are very frequently used within application development. At value annotation is provided for injecting value type dependencies. At auto-word annotation is provided for injecting object type and collection type dependencies. Okay, na? Right? That's the point what you have to understand. That's the point what you have to understand. Right? Right. Everybody try to uh, try to get my point. Okay? At value that auto-word. So I would like to give what this at value and at auto-word, because I already covered something about stereotype annotations. Now I would like to cover these two annotations also in the session today. See, this at value annotation injects a value. It can inject directly a value which you provided, and it will take care of typecasting. For example, if it is an integer, the value what you are provided will be typecasted to that integer. If it is a double, it is typecasted to the double. Okay, what you are providing to this annotation, this will take care of typecasting. Don't worry. At value annotation is provided. Okay, I would like to give you the point. At value annotation can be used for injecting the value type. Right. Say for example, I mean, I am passing the value to this annotation within double quotes, nothing but as a string. As a string, I am providing. So look at, okay, observe it. Look at something like this. I would like to erase this to tell you. See, for example, I'm writing a component here. Let me write a component. Say, for example, I'm writing at component, otherwise at service, whatever it is. Public class. It can be something. Okay, I just want to write. It's a customer component. Just assume that. Just it is an example to explain, that's all. In applications we use different. Now here I am writing at value. Of double quotes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Say for example, I'm writing private int customer ID, cust ID. Example. So this annotation value will take care of the typecasting, the conversion. Otherwise, we can say the wrapping. It does. You don't need to worry about that. So this value annotation injects this value to this customer ID. What's the value it is injecting? 1, 2, 3, 4. I will tell you. Of course. This is annotation. First, I would like to explain this annotation which I'm writing here. So, for example, at value. Name, it doesn't matter. Okay, so XYZ. It's a string name. Okay, just remaining I'm not writing. So everyone, So what this annotation at value will do, it injects. Now this annotation, we can use at field level. I said already annotations can be used at class level, at a field level, at a method level, at a constructor level. That's what yesterday I told you. Now this annotation injects what, this value 1, 2, 3, 4 to this cust ID. And this is a value type dependency. String actually is a class in Spring in a Java, but when you come to Spring Framework, every string variable is treated as a value type, but not as an object type. In Spring Framework, string is a value type. Okay, remember that point. Actually, string is a class, but in Spring Framework, strings are treated as values, not objects. So name injected as XYZ to this name property, nothing but to this variable. This is also called a dependency. Now this customer has two dependencies now, customer ID, cust ID, and name dependencies. Both the dependencies are value types. And to inject the dependencies, we use an annotation called what, @value. And of course, here there is a drawback also. What's the drawback here? If, for example, if I want to change the customer ID or a name, then I have to modify the source code here. So every time when there is a change to customer ID or customer name, I have to every time make changes to the code. That is the drawback here. Of course, I will tell you the alternate next. Okay, I'll tell you the alternate next. Everyone, so just try to understand what I'm trying to tell you. See, when you look at this, everyone, when you look at this, what's the annotation I would like to explain here? @value. And this annotation can be used for injecting what, a value type. So these two dependencies are value types only. These two dependencies are value types only, like a customer ID and customer name. Okay, right, I would like to tell you. But whenever I want to make any change to the value, I have to open this code to modify. Means I every time need to modify the source code. So I would like to tell you the alternative. In Spring, while writing applications, you can also define as part of the application a properties file. Properties file means extension.properties. We can write in Spring Boot applications, we write application.properties. Of course, it can be any name.properties, but we can write a properties file. See, for example, here I am writing something cust.properties, a file. And in this file, I can, in a properties file, the data can be entered as a key is equal to value pairs. The data can be entered as a key is equal to value pairs. Say, for example, I am writing cust.id is a key. This key can be any of your choice. Don't feel that dot is compulsory required or something. It's not there is no rule or something like that. Okay. There is no rule or regulations like a dot is mandatory or something. Just it can be any user defined key, a string, something, cust.id. Say equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Say, for example, cust.name equals to XYZ. So what can I do now? The values can be injected using @value annotation. Values can be injected, right? Values can be injected from this properties file. So how? To the @value annotation, you need to provide or you need to pass, a placeholder variable as a value. Placeholder variables are written within dollar and curly braces. They are called placeholders. So pass a placeholder to the at value annotation. Right. So let me tell you how I am going to write here. Let me tell you how I am going to write here. Right. So I'm writing like this. See, for example, at component or anything. Public class customer. See, look at this. At value of, here I am writing dollar curly brace cust.id. Okay, private int cust id. This variable name customer ID or cust ID. This can be any. This is a value type dependency. See, for example, I'm writing at value of, say I'm writing dollar. Say, for example, cust.name. Private string name. See, these are actually called as placeholders. These are called as placeholders. So we can pass placeholder. A placeholder can start with a dollar and curly brace, ends with a curly brace. And this cust.id is a name, placeholder name. This is a placeholder. Placeholders we can write. Now this placeholder name should match with the key in the properties file. Say, for example, I create a cust properties file. It can be any name dot properties I'm writing. So this is a properties file where we have cust.id equals to 1234. Cust.name equals to XYZ. I have written like this. So what happens at the runtime? Now this value annotation is going to inject the value of a placeholder from the properties file. See, what is the value in this properties file for this placeholder cust.id? If the key is matching, if this placeholder is matching with the key, then this annotation will inject the value. If not matching, then we'll definitely give an exception. We'll raise an exception at the runtime. Right. So here it's matching. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is a value injected. And it is matching. So this value annotation is going to inject this value XYZ loaded from properties file. What's the advantage of this? Suppose if I want to modify the ID or a name, so now I no need to touch the source code of the application. I no need to touch the source code. I can simply open a properties file. Properties file is not a Java file. It's just some text file. So I can simply open this file and I can able to make changes. I can able to make changes, like I can remove this 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can write, some other value. Sorry, it's completely erased. Okay, right. So no problem. I'll write here. in custard properties file, now I can change the value. In place of 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll remove this. I'll let 5, 6, 7, 8. I can remove this X, Y, Z, and I can add, for example, ABC, something like. So hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. So these are properties file you are making changes. So what happens when you make any changes in properties? Now these new properties are loaded into that the dependency. The value annotation is going to now inject these new values. Means without making any changes to the source code. So I can use a properties file. Means I can pass the values externally through properties file. Right, through properties file. Externally, I'm just going to pass the values through properties file. Right, okay. But when you make any changes to properties file, again application is going to be reloaded, but that the time of the application reloading is very, very little, very small. I'll tell you the reason why. And for that, I need to explain about the class loaders in Spring Boot. I'll explain about that. I need to explain about the concept of class loader. So I will explain at the Spring Boot applications. Okay. So cus.id I can change here, and cus.name I can change here. If you want to again modify, just you can modify in the properties file, but no need to test the source code. So finally, what I told you so far, just I mean, I will continue, but still, just to tell you that a bean can have value type dependencies, object type dependencies, and collection type dependencies, right? These are the uh, different types of dependencies. These are types of dependencies. See, you answered actually when I asked a question, you answered like this. What you answered, you know, you answered setter. Many of you people have answered like this: setter, constructor, like that. Boss, setter, constructor, okay. Setter, constructor, lookup method, and interface. These are the types of dependency injections. Types of dependency injections. Okay, these are the types of dependency injections. These are the types of dependencies. First of all, I would like to ask a question. Have you clear? Okay. So have you identified the difference now? Dependencies and dependency injections. Okay. Dependencies are 3 types. Dependency injections are 4 types. And that differentiation is very, very important. Okay, right. Setter, constructor, these are the different types of dependency injections. Okay. So some dependencies are injected through setter methods. Some dependencies are injected via constructor defined in the bean class. If dependencies are injected through setter methods, it's named as a setter injection. Okay. And if dependencies are injected by the Spring container through constructor defined in a class, it is named as a constructor injection. And lookup method interface injections are going to be used in special cases, so that if time permits, I'll explain in later sessions. But mostly setter, constructor are the 2 words which you are using as a dependence injections. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say. Right. Okay. Got it. So find the difference like that. Okay. So at value annotation injects value type dependencies. Now at auto word annotation is the most important annotation in Spring, in both Spring applications and Spring Boot applications. Stereotype annotations, at value annotation, at auto word annotation. These annotations, these 5-6 annotations which we use in every application. So without that, we can't able to write any application. Right, okay. So I would like to write, I would like to explain auto word annotation. See, auto word annotation can be used for injecting object type dependencies of a bean or collection type dependencies of a bean, both. It can be used for injecting both objects and collections, object and collection type dependencies of a bean. Right. So let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you how auto word annotation is going to work. This is very important, sir. I'm keeping stars here, very, very important. And of course, I'll also explain with this auto word annotation, one more annotation called qualifier. These are very frequently used: auto void, qualifier, at the rate value, and stereotype annotations. If you know them, then you can able to write all the Spring Boot. You can understand and you can write all the Spring Boot applications, and of course, microservice applications. Right. Let me tell you. Okay, let's start with, I'll tell you. Okay. I'll tell you, sir. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you when to use at the rate primary annotation. I'll tell you. Okay. I'll tell you. Okay. Nice. Now, nice. Let's move on. Right. Look at the point here clearly. I have to explain. Okay, I will explain. See, everything is not possible to explain within a single class. Yesterday you got some knowledge. Today you are getting some new knowledge. Tomorrow you'll get some new knowledge. Okay. Like that. Whatever I have, my perspective and my view of the Spring, the Spring, these basics I'll keep in front of you. Right. Look at my point, everyone. Okay, look at my point. See what I'm trying to tell you. Say for example, I'm writing two components like this. Both are service components only, for example, or one service component and one repository component I'm writing. Say for example, I'm writing at yeah. Let me write at service, and let me write public. Just listen, public class. Say for example, flight service IMPL. Say which implements iFlight service. Assume that this is a code. It's a class, a service, a class in service layer of my application. A class in service layer of my application. Okay, look at my point. Now I would like to write something like this now. What I want to write is just observe. iFlight repository. iFlight repository. Otherwise, say iFlight DAO, anything. Say for example, reference is a DAO. So now I can tell you, I have another, I have another class here. Say for example, at repository. Say what public class, it's a flight DAO IMPL, which implements iFlight DAO. iFlight DAO is an interface. Its implementation is iFlight DAO IMPL. Assume that there are some DAO operations defined here. See, if you look at this now, there are two Spring Bean components are there. What are the two Spring Bean components? One is a flight service IMPL, next one flight DAO IMPL. Of course, this component works in service layer, this component works in repository layer of the project. Okay, so this stereotype is an indication. Now, these two, your flight service IMPL depends on flight DAO IMPL, because flight service IMPL wants to invoke some operations through DAO. So it wants to invoke some operations of the DAO. Now, flight service IMPL depends on flight DAO IMPL. So I have taken a reference variable for injecting an object of flight DAO IMPL. Now, this DAO is a reference variable which can hold an object of flight DAO IMPL. Of course, I created an interface reference. So an interface reference, of course, can store an implementation. It's implementation object, implementation class object, right? So now this is not a value type dependency. This is an object type dependency. And the annotation provided for injecting object types is auto void. So obviously what happens, I'm going to write annotation called what? At auto void. At auto void is annotation, what I have written here. So why I'm writing at auto void here? Because it is an object type dependency. So when I write at auto void annotation, then the dependency will be injected. Okay, Spring will take care of injecting the dependency. The Spring will auto void the dependency object. Nothing but Spring will inject automatically the dependency object. What's a dependency object here? Flight DAO IMPL object is a dependency object. So what's the annotation I use at auto void? Where I use at field level, I have used it. But actually, I can also use it at the method level, at the setter method level. I can use it at the setter method level. I can use it at the field level. I can also use it at the constructor level. Mostly we use this annotation at the field level in applications. Right. At the field level, we use mostly. So generally, we don't use this at the setter method level or at the constructor level. We use at the field level. So what happens when I write at the rate auto void? What happens when I write at the rate auto void? Now this dependency will be injected. Who will inject the dependency? The Spring container injects the dependency object. Who is the dependency object here? Flight DAO IMPL class object. Who will inject it automatically by the Spring because of what we are adding at the rate auto void. Right. So this annotation is provided for auto voiding, nothing but for injecting the object type dependencies or even collection type dependencies. That I will explain you next. But right now I'm talking about only object type dependency. Well, I can tell you one thing. See, let me write this somewhat below. Right. Example, to tell you somewhat in more better. To tell you somewhat in more better, see here. Everyone. Say for example, I would like to, yeah. I'll tell you why I removed it. So I flight DAO. See, this is one implementation of this interface iFlight DAO. Say for example, the class name is iFlight DAO IMPL1. Clear, everyone. Next what? Again, I am writing at repository. And you know what I am writing is public class say flight DAO IMPL2, which implements iFlight DAO. Now, if you think of the Spring has to auto-wire an object of type iFlight DAO. But now in the Spring container, there are two objects of type iFlight DAO. One object of class flight DAO IMPL1, another object of another class flight DAO IMPL2. Both objects are of type iFlight DAO only because both are implementation classes of iFlight DAO only. Now, first of all, have you understood my statement right now, whatever I told? Right? Whatever I told just now, have you understood? Or do you want me to repeat? Make it faster, respond fastly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the reason I'm asking. Yes, yes. Yeah. Listen here, again I'll explain. See, actually, see this auto word annotation is added so that the Spring has to inject an object. Spring has to inject an object to this reference variable of type iFlight DAO, right? But in container, in Spring container, there are two objects in the container of type iFlight DAO. In that, one of the object belongs to flight DAO IMPL1 and other one belongs to iFlight DAO IMPL2. Both are of type iFlight DAO because both are implementation classes of same interface. Both are implementation class of same interface, na? iFlight DAO. Right? I'll tell you. So in this case, there is an ambiguity. The Spring, right? Okay, the Spring will get an ambiguity now. The Spring container will get an ambiguity. Now it is in dilemma whether I should inject an object of flight DAO IMPL1 class or should inject an object of flight DAO IMPL2 for auto wiring. We'll get an ambiguity. This is what ambiguity. So when there is more than one matching bean found, there are two beans found matching with the iFlight DAO, right? So when there is more than one found, not a unique, more than one found. If there is more than one bean found as matching type, then you know the annotation provided to resolve this ambiguity is qualifier. At qualifier.
And this qualifier used to provide the bean ID, nothing but bean name. The qualifier bean name at qualifier is annotation to resolve this ambiguity. Say, as I said already, now this is registered in Spring container with class name as ID with the first letter in lowercase. This also registered in container, uh, an object of this class registered with class name as its ID with first letter in lowercase. This is also same with the first letter in lowercase. It is registered with the flight DEVA IMPL1. It is registered with the flight DEVA IMPL2. So let me write, for example, here qualifier of flight DAO IMPL2. For example, I'm writing like this. Now what happened here? The ambiguity problem got resolved. So when there is more than one bean found in the container for auto wiring, if more than one object means if more than one bean found in the container for auto wiring, then ambiguity problem occur because it can't decide whether to inject the first object or the second object, right? So ambiguity problem occurs. So that problem can be resolved with qualifier. So use qualifier annotation to provide the name, bean name or ID, whatever it is, bean name or bean ID, whatever it is. And now tell me, have you understood now whatever so far I have explained? Have you understood now? Right. Good, good, good. Nice. Nice. So that's what, yeah, good, nice. So then use qualifier annotation for that. So means, okay, now means qualifier annotation can be used for resolving ambiguity. Actually, there is one more annotation is available that is called @primary. But right now, for the time being, I am not talking about this. But when the time comes, I'll explain as part of the sessions only. I'll explain @primary also. So we can use @primary. @primary means we are telling the container give more priority for this bean. That's what primary. A bean with a primary annotation will get more priority, high priority. That's what primary. We make it as a primary. @primary is also there. But right now, for the time being, I'm not talking about this. But I have explained about auto void and qualifier. Today, what more new things you learned is @value annotation. Importantly, @auto void annotation with @qualifier annotation. Actually, auto void annotation is not yet completed. But anyhow, when we are discussing in the further classes tomorrow and next, I'll give you more elaborated discussion on this auto void along with this qualifier. Okay, right. So these are the basics what you have to learn so that it will become easy for you to understand the sessions. Okay, right. There is this question asked, you've written a big question, but actually there is nothing here, sir. I would like to tell you, @value, @auto void, we can use both at a time. Why not? @value is for a different purpose. @auto void is for different purpose. Okay, right. So, and somebody is asking about difference between component and service. Okay, so see, component is a general purpose. See, component doesn't tell that this bean is working in which layer. I repeat to the Deepak Shinde, you asked a question. Difference between component and service. I repeat you, component doesn't say that this bean is going to work in a specific layer, like in a presentation layer or in a service layer or in the data access layer, right? So just it's telling that this is a bean component. That's all. It's a bean component. But if you want to particularly specify that this component is working in a specific layer like a service layer or in a repository layer, then use annotation at service or at repository like that. So component is a general purpose component which can be used in any layer. So you can't specially say that this is working, this component is working in the service layer or it's working in the repository layer. That's a difference you can find between component and service. Right, okay. Right, everyone. Now next I would like to explain. The session will begin tomorrow at 6:30. From tomorrow onwards, every day, the session starts at 6:30 a.m. Okay, I think this is convenient time for you because I'm observing, you know, around more than 50 people, 50 students, more than 50. You are attending from 6:20, 6:30 like that because I feel that 6:30 is better time for everyone, a convenient time. Okay.